Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Due Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you last week, the beginning of this week? Oh, we are back. I missed you. We are back from our hiatus for the Breaking the Yoke Community Conference Prayer and Awareness Walk. We're going to talk about that for a little while later, but we're going right into go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere because we will be right back.
People hear feedback and get offended. Strong people hear feedback and they get better. Weak people wait until they feel ready. Strong people move and figure it out along the way. Weak people overthink. Strong people bite off more than they can chew and figure out how to handle it. Weak people scroll and compare. Strong people scroll and study. Weak people start something and then stop when it gets hard. Strong people start something and keep going even when it gets boring. Weak people need validation before they move. Strong people move and let results validate them. Weak people talk about what they're going to do. Strong people quietly do it. Weak people avoid uncomfortable conversations. Strong people lean into them. Weak people see someone winning and they feel threatened. Strong people see someone winning and feel activated. Same situation, different mindset, different outcome.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. And it is Wow Wednesday. We are starting back on our high. We got our girlfriend Vivian waiting in the wings. So let's say good morning.
Good morning. Happy
Good morning.
Wild Wednesday. How are you, Pastor Steph?
I am well. Thank you, Vivian. How are you? Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. I got like 2 minutes because we don't have you on. Before we go to the socially conscious segment, what did you think about the prayer and awareness walk and Breaking the Yoke, Jamaica's first community conference?
Well, I really enjoyed my walk. I walked for the children with neurodivergent disabilities. I really enjoyed the walk, the conversations. It was amazing. I loved my little group. It was really amazing. I didn't get a chance to speak to the other captains and find out what their walk was like, but mine was amazing. And then the community conference, it was good. It was really good to see everybody coming out, everybody who donated their time and their services to the community. It was really nice. And then I love that we were in the park. I know it was difficult to get up in there, but I really liked that we were in the park because it was a lot of people who weren't registered coming over, which gave us an opportunity to let them know like why we're out here, and they wanted to know how they can register for the next one and things like that. So it was really good. It was really good.
Good. Can't thank you enough for just all the help with the setup and being a part of the team and just doing your walk, with, like you said, with your small group, but it's a big group when it comes to prayer. So
Yes.
God needed you on that path. And, we're going to try to grab you again somehow, some way, so you could elaborate a little bit on even what some of the conversation was about. So again, thank you. Could not have done it without you. So we are so grateful to God for giving us a special day. So as always, on a Wednesday, I like to ask, what you got for us today?
All right, today on Socially Conscious, we are just going to call today's episode Keeping Up with Mamdani. Almost every story is tied to his name today. But we are starting off today with an update on the Mamdani grocery stores that we talked about recently. He has shared some new details about New York City's plan to open 5 city-run grocery stores. He says the stores would sell basic groceries like fruits, vegetables, meat, seafood, dairy, and pantry items for about 30% less than regular grocery stores. City officials estimate the average family could save about $90 a month, or around $1,000 a year. The stores are expected to open between 2027 and 2029, with one in each borough. But of course, as everything, the plan is getting mixed reactions. Supporters say it will help families afford groceries as food prices continue to rise, while critics are saying, one, is 30% really going to make a difference? And two, that the government will be competing with local supermarkets and bodegas using taxpayer money. They're saying to help ease the concern, the city says the stores will not sell alcohol, cigarettes, lottery tickets, or hot prepared food. That is their way of leaving those sales to the neighborhood businesses in order for them to have some type of leeway on making their money. Which brings us to our next story, as a lot of people are saying that just is not enough. And a group of immigrant business organizations is actually planning to sue New York City over Mayor Mamdani's plan to open these city-run grocery stores. They say the city stores would have an unfair advantage because they are funded by taxpayers and could sell food at lower prices than regular supermarkets, bodegas, and other small business shops. The group worries that this could hurt or even shut down small mom and pop shops or immigrant-owned businesses. The group says it has already raised $1 million in plans to take legal actions against the city. They're arguing that these stores could damage businesses that have been part of New York communities for years. And supporters of the city plan say the goal is to make groceries cheaper in areas that need it most, not to harm and or shut down these mom and pop shops and small businesses in our neighborhood. And then we go to Mayor Mamdani's Fix the City housing plan, which is aimed at holding negligent landlords more accountable by cracking down on unsafe living conditions like mold, leaks, broken heat, pet infestations, and other long-standing code violations. So this Fix the City plan It's causing for stronger housing reinforcement, faster inspections, and expanded use of this legal process known as 7A, which will allow a judge to temporarily remove a landlord from managing a building if they repeatedly fail to make necessary repairs. They're saying under the 7A order, the landlord would still own the property, but a court-appointed administrator would take over collecting rent, maintaining the building, and completing repairs until conditions improve. Interesting. They're saying that with this plan, that the Bronx is utilizing this ASAP. They're saying tenants out in one apartment building have filed a lawsuit asking a judge to remove their landlord through this 7A process. The tenants are saying that they've endured years of unsafe conditions, including mold, leaks, and broken elevators, and believe that court intervention is the only option at this point. And if the judge approves the request, it could become one of the first high plan in action and signal that more landlords who fail to maintain safe housing conditions could face similar challenges in the future. So this being one of the first, I definitely see this going through so that he can show what this is all about. But now we have our wow story of the week. And if you haven't heard, everybody has probably heard of the story of the 12-year-old Bronx boy, Jacob Freitas, who was killed after being struck by a stray gunfire. Articles are wording it that way. They're saying that he was while walking to a neighborhood bodega over the weekend. That's how they're wording it, that he was shot by a stray bullet while walking to a neighborhood bodega over the weekend. Police say Jacob was an innocent bystander caught in the middle of a dispute between a group of men when the suspect opened fire. After being shot, 12-year-old Jacob ran into the store seeking help, but unfortunately, he later died at the hospital. 2 other men were also injured and are expected to recover. Police have arrested 45-year-old William Farrar and charged him with murder, attempted murder, manslaughter, assaults, and weapons of offenses. Investigators believe the shooting stemmed from a gang-related dispute, but says that Jacob had no connection to the conflict. The tragedy has sparked an outpouring of grief across the Bronx, and community members and law enforcement are mourning the loss of this young man, whose father is actually a retired NYPD detective sergeant. Now, after my closing, Shantice is going to play the video, and I just need to know, do you see what I see? I'm gonna do my best to be in the comment sections just in case nobody sees what I see. I can let y'all know what my eyes see. But this has been Vivian with Socially Conscious, giving you the news that we are following. And remember, if you have any wild stories you would like to submit, please feel free to direct message me on Facebook. My username there is Vivian BM, and come back every Wednesday to find out if your story has been chosen. Thank you, as always, to our loyal viewers and listeners, and thank you, Pastor Steph.
A group of men that there was an argument going on between that group, and surveillance video shows how it escalated. You could see that fight between the group turns physical, and the boy is just standing there behind on his bike. You could see a man with a white t-shirt steps back from the group, fires at the rest of the group. Police say 2 men got shot. The boy was also hit, and he then runs into the bodega for safety. Many
All right. Thank you, Vivian. So sorry we didn't get a chance to see you. Maybe Shantice can play this video again and we can get the an adjustment to how it's played. So we're going to see if we could get it again later. But thank you so much, Viv. Thank you so much. And we pray you have a blessed day. We're going to hope to get your comments in the comment section. You know how we go on Wednesday. We go backwards so we can say good morning to our Due Time family in the room. So you know how we do. If you're in the room, make sure you shout it out so that I can say good morning. I don't know you're in the room unless you let me know that you're in the room. So let's see who is joining us this morning. We got to check in from our girl, Ketty. Hey, Ketty girl. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your participation in this year's Brand Awareness Walk and Breaking the Yoke Community Conference. Hey, Terrence, good morning. Where were you? Where were you this weekend? Oh, my goodness. You missed it. Well, we're glad to see you on this morning. All righty. Teddy says, great PSA. Terrence says, Vivian is looking like a drill sergeant. I don't know what that means. I guess that's between her and Terrence. Oh, my goodness. Serge, good morning, Serge. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and thank you for welcoming us back. I just want y'all to know we could not have done it without Serge. Oh, my goodness. Serge swooped in like a superhero. Oh, my goodness. You know, I missed giving a shout out to Serge this weekend. I wanted to just die. Serge, actually, he and Shantice worked on over 130 shirts, 140 shirts. She'll give the number when she gets on. But they did by hand those shirts, and Serge did the back of every one of those shirts, and those shirts looked phenomenal. Please forgive me, Serge. It was out of my head. They say charge it to my head, not my heart. But Serge, we couldn't have done it without you. We got to check in from our girl, Lady Tamika, on this side of the screen. Hey, girl, we want to hear about your conference this weekend after we finish all of our socially conscious stuff. We got, we have a check-in from our girl, Anika. Oh, my goodness. If you missed the conference, you want to definitely reach out and get the QR code for the program for the conference. When I tell you phenomenal work, oh my goodness, I was blown away at the beautiful program for the conference this year. I don't know how she's going to top herself because every year it gets better and better and better. And girl, you were phenomenal. At the park, behind the scenes, yeah, that's our techie girl across the board. And we were really blessed to have her really, really, really at the hands of that program, because I don't think anybody could have done much better. I'm going to be honest. All right. So we have to say good morning to Miss Grace, who's checking in. Good morning to you, Miss Grace. Miss Grace, thank you so much for your prayers. I just saw your text message. And it got buried, girl. It got buried in all of the stuff from Sabbath and all the text messages from the walk. And, you know, that was my primary source of reaching all of my captains and people who wanted to know extra information, and it just got buried. But we could not have done it without your prayers. Trust me when I tell you. It was a phenomenal day. Like I said, we'll come back to it. But I definitely wanted to tell you that your prayers were so well welcomed. And we are so appreciative of you just hanging back in the cut, just covering us with prayer. All right. So we got a couple of comments, and I'm just going to read them because they're going to get buried possibly. Serge said, these mom and pop shops are too expensive, like Seatown, Associates, and Dunkin' Donuts. Oh my. Serge is hitting Dunkin' Donuts. All righty. Terrence says, it's more to that story with the little boy. So I don't know if he's saying that's what he saw in the video, but we got to see the video again because the video was like, so hopefully we'll get an opportunity to see the video again. You know, we are going to be hit with all of the comments. So please, if you're in the room, you know how y'all do. Y'all keep this chat room going. Let's say good morning to our girl, Lady Tamika, before we get started. Good morning. Good morning. Is she frozen? It looks like she's frozen. Wow. All right, so. Oh no, there she is. There she is.
Good morning. Happy Wow Wednesday to you. We are back and in color.
Yes.
How are you?
Well, I am well, thanks. How are you?
I am well. Thank you, God. So much to thank God for.
Amen. Amen. We're going to come back and we're going to chat about what happened over the weekend, but giving God thanks for traveling mercies. Are you home? Are you back?
I am. Yep. Back to the wall.
I thought so. So giving God thanks that he enabled you to travel safely. And I can't wait to hear about the festivities over the weekend. And you ready, Shantice? Nope. I don't think she's ready. She'll be on when she's ready. But I missed everybody. I miss being on. You know, I'm gonna be taking a little break in a little over a week. So I'm gonna really have an opportunity to miss you all. But you know what? She's not ready. So tell us about your weekend.
Well, it was amazing. We had people traveling from Indianapolis, from New Jersey, North Carolina, and such, you know, and they were all in this building. Most of the, we assisted with music, song, dance, theater, a little bit of everything. And, you know, people loved it. You know, people were actually sitting and enjoying themselves. And we had a lot of bishops, archbishops, et cetera, that were in the building, you know, and you know, a lot of times people, you know, it's business as usual. You know, you have your normal service. They were expecting just your normal, you know, your service, the way that it lines out. And it wasn't that, you know, and they enjoyed being able to, you know, communicate and laugh and giggle. You know, a lot of times, sometimes we're so busy being churchy that we forget that, you know, sometimes you need to be able to visualize, you know. So my husband played a demon or devil, you know, so they were not expecting the devil to show up at service. And so they were like, wait a minute, you know, it kind of threw them off. And then they got used to it. It was like, oh, so the very end, you know, I'm the one that's kicking the devil out. I chain him up with his own chain and throw him out the sanctuary. It had a rave of applause. Wow. And I love the fact that it was received well.
Amen. 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 I know you and Al can bring the theater. That is just like nobody's business. So I'm sure that if you were armed with any level of theatrical presentation, I know they loved it. Because you and him are characters, period. So, you know, I'm sure that it was a blessed event. I am so happy to hear that, you know, everyone enjoyed themselves and it was a delight. I am sure. Once you said it was the theater, introduced, I was like, okay, that had to wow them in and of itself. And like you said, just doing things outside of the norm is what you really want to bless people with, because we're just such in a box. That's it. And I'm happy. I'm happy and giving God thanks for everybody who attended and all of the support you received. So hopefully we don't land on the same weekend next year, so we can kind of maybe support one another.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. We're giving God thanks for everything that He's done for your conference. And again, giving God thanks for traveling mercies. And we're back on the block, girl. We're back on the block. All righty. Let's say good morning to our girl Shantice and get these socially conscious items out the way.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, ladies?
Well, thank you. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
All right, let's get started. So we have Mayor Mamdani Day, and we're back to the grocery store conversation. He has 5 city-owned grocery stores that he's planning on opening that will sell regular items for 30% cheaper than what normal grocery stores are charging. He is looking to save the average individual about $1,000 a year. And again, this is going to launch in between 2027 and 2029, one in each borough. Now, critics are saying, as you know, there's always going to be a critic somewhere. Critics are saying that the 30% is really not going to make a difference. And his comeback is, because they're also saying, hey, you're gonna be stealing some of the, support from the local source. And hey, I'm not gonna sell alcohol. We're not gonna sell cigarettes or lottery. So we'll leave that profit to the local store owners. Lady Tamika, is this going to make a difference?
I love all of these ideas, but I always feel like you don't give it the thought processes that it needs. I feel like you come up with these things, but you don't look at all of the components that play a role. And fine, you're not going to sell liquor, you're not going to sell, but I sell bananas. I sell potatoes, and so for those that, that are in the area, I can understand their concern. If I'm selling the same thing that you're selling and you're just not selling liquor, cigarettes and things like that, I would be concerned as well. There are some areas that are struggling. I listened to one of the gentlemen who is probably a bodega owner, the way that it looked. And he's like, I'm barely making it. I'm struggling to pay the rent on a daily basis. And now you put a store in my neighborhood. Yeah, I would be concerned as well. And so, all of those things. And then my thing is, every time we pay something, it seems like, for instance, I might buy bacon this week and then go buy, bacon next week. And the price is twice as much, or you're giving me smaller portions. And so if you're saying 30%, will it really make a difference in a household? If it's just one person, that's one thing. But if you have a household of people, 2 or more, the price really adds up.
Okay. Shantice, what's your thought? Lady Tamika says, hey, it's going to harm and it's really not going to make a difference.
I agree. I don't see the point in the same things being put right next door to each other. There's nothing authentic that you're offering outside of reduced pricing. So you're going to go around selling certain things, but the basis, the foundation of what you're selling is the same thing as the other stores around you. So you're doing the same exact thing. You're not opening a store that's, serving different types of produce and, okay, well, y'all focus on selling the name brand. I'm going to show how the generic brands are just as popping, and that's all we're going to have on our shelves. And no, they're the same exact things. So you immediately moved in as a competitor. For what? What was the point in that? I don't really see the whole hoopla, in what he's doing. And you saying, well, we're not going to sell cigarettes, we're not going to sell alcohol, but you didn't move next to a liquor store. You didn't move next to a smoke shop. You moved next to another grocery store. Same, so it's like it's the same thing. I never understand it, especially in New York. There are like 15 bodegas on the same block. Everybody's selling the same thing. The only difference is your light bulbs might be brighter than mine, and I may have a cat in my store, but you don't. And, people might want my chopped cheese over yours, but it's the same thing. It's like the same thing.
Okay. I differ from you ladies. I don't think it's going to make a difference. I just don't. You're talking about one store and a million other stores. There's this concern of if the 30% will make a difference. Well, let me tell you something. For Stephanie, 10% makes a difference. It does. But again, I'm not worried because, hey, you ladies have hit the nail on the head. You are coming in as a competitor. But people have their favorites. So there's a C-Town in my area that has been in existence since I've been here. And I've been here for over 30 years. Same C-Town. Now, a few years ago, they upgraded. They revamped the whole entire store without shutting the store down. They revamped everything. It's brighter. The items are different. Blah, 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 blah. We had another, I'm trying to remember the name of this store. It was a popular local supermarket, but they moved in as Ideal food baskets. And they are a much different grade of food than C-Town is. And we prefer to go to Ideal because the quality of food is different than C-Town. So I think if the quality, pay attention, if the quality of Mamdani's, the federal government's grocery store is better, that's what will pull the crowd. I just don't see, I really don't, because like you said, all of these people are selling the same exact thing. It's just a matter of a different price. But that's not gonna make the difference because C-Town a lot of times they're cheaper. They're less expensive than Ideal. But I ain't heading to C-Town. I'm heading to Ideal because of the quality. They're more expensive, but I'm gonna pay a few extra dollars. Pay attention. I'm gonna pay a few extra dollars. So the 30% cheaper ain't gonna matter to me. Because if the quality is not there, then you're not gonna get my business no way. Also, people are loyal. People are very loyal. And if they resent, if they look at this placement of this supermarket by the government inside of their neighborhood to be something that they feel is robbing the local merchant that they've come to love, and they're not going to support that store like that. And remember, it's one a borough, y'all. What difference is one in a borough gonna make? I'm still trying to figure this out. When Vivian said she has new updates or something about this grocery store, I thought there was going to be something different. Vivian didn't tell us nothing different today that she told us when she first came and brought us this story. What difference is one supermarket in the entire borough gonna make? They're not taking no money from nobody. What? I don't agree. I don't see where they're gonna pose much of a threat, where they're gonna just all of a sudden just pull, because not only that, you gotta travel to get to the store if there's only one in the borough. That kills my coupons, my 30%. If I gotta take a cab there, if I gotta take an Uber back, if I gotta burn gas. Y'all, I ain't nothing to worry about. Ain't not
You know everybody gonna be lining up with their shopping carts on the train and the bus trying to go to that one store.
Right.
Yeah, I ain't moved. It ain't gonna be no threat. Please. Anika says, I thought the stores were to be in areas that were considered being food deserts to help folk that didn't have a store nearby. Bodegas are different from an actual food market. That's what I'm saying. This here is getting mixed. It's getting a mixture. Are you competing with the supermarket or are you competing with the bodega? So I'm with her 100%. Not only that, okay, Anika, wait. Where are their food store deserts? That ain't the deal no more.
Right, not here.
Not in New York City. Mm-hmm. Everywhere has a local supermarket, if not 2 or 3. So right. I'm trying to figure out where you fitting in. That's what I said. People are loyal, and they're not gonna all of a sudden just jump up and start with their shopping carts like it's a pantry for free. Yeah. Serge says, I say it may not be any different, but if you can have your tax back to you within the year, why not? I've been seeing a lot of these politicians getting more back through the loophole. Serge, I don't know what you talking about. I'm sorry. Put something else in the chat room that I can understand. Do you ladies understand what Serge is saying?
No.
Okay. So maybe he's talking about another item. Okay, so we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm lost. So, but that, in my opinion, we ain't got nothing to worry about. All righty. Here we have another Mamdani item. So a group, okay, so this here gets a spin for me. A group of immigrant owners are suing the mayor, funded by taxpayers. Bodegas said it's going to hurt, shut down the local mom and pop stores. They've raised $1,000 and they're worrying about, hey, this is going to kill what's been in the community for years. Shantice, what say you?
Wait, so I'm sorry, can you repeat their concern again?
They're concerned that now that you're moving into the community, that you're going to kill what the local merchants have been trying to build. And now you're going to steal their business. So now their businesses are going to go under because this big conglomerate of a supermarket is coming into the community. So they're suing a group of immigrant owners are suing the mayor.
It sounds like it goes back to what you just said. I feel like everybody's just talking in circles. But it goes back to what was said. If I already live in this neighborhood, then I pretty much already have where I go. So now you moving in, and again, if you're already in that neighborhood, like how many times, okay, like you said, we're in this area, we have a C-town, we have an ideal. So depending on what we want, when we want it, we can kind of flip-flop between the two. And then now we see another store being put up. A lot of times we get an attitude because it's like, why are you here? Because most of the time, you're not here as a benefit for us. You're not gonna swoop in and now we're gonna be like, whoa, forget C-Town, forget Ideal, we're coming to you. A lot of times it's just like, you just taking up space. Like we just saw another laundromat being put up. And I was just like, why? Okay. And whether the one I normally go to is really expensive or not, I like that one. But just seeing you here is like, okay, you just take it up property space. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of smoking guns, and it's another reason for them to make noise. That's just what I'm hearing.
Okay. Lady Tamika, what are you hearing?
I think it's the fear of bodegas, and there are certain stores like there's certain stores that I think of that when you go in that they're owned by immigrants that have been here, but I'll be honest, those are not stores that I frequent. There's a C-Town this way, there's a Pioneer that way, and there, I'm thinking about what you said. There's a food stand that just got erected maybe even 2 years ago, and I look at their products. They sell fruit and vegetables, and they're outside 24 hours. Beautiful thing. But honestly, when I go and I try and buy a product, I don't want it. It's mushy, because it's outside. There are flies that have been around it. I just, and so I agree, that people are going to choose what they want, and even with the stuff that they have, I say to myself, why are you here? You don't look like me, and what if the product that you have is not for my good? Because you just came out of the blue. And so I think that's the same thing with, I understand their heart that they're concerned that their businesses would close down, but people choose what they want to choose. And I don't care how long you've been there. Again, the stuff is cheaper. You can buy, let's say, 3 beets for $1 over there. And I'm going, why would I want that? I'm looking at it. I'm feeling it. It's not firm. Yeah, no.
Okay. I got some information. But before we do that, Serge is trying to clarify what he's saying. He said opening the store from New York City will collect double from the store and from the tax, and the city will collect more from tax returns. Okay. Well, thank you, Serge, for introducing that concept, because I have no idea that, that goes on. So thank you for that information. So I said a minute ago about the food deserts. Are there really food deserts in New York City? Well, Anika sent me some stats, and she said that in the Bronx, in Brooklyn, and in Harlem, they say there's an estimated 750,000 residents who live in low access areas lacking full service supermarkets, relying instead on bodegas and fast food with limited fresh produce. Well, this is news to me. Living in Queens, we don't know. We don't have that problem. I didn't realize that was going on, especially in Harlem. Now, I may have believed it in the Bronx, but in Harlem, not with the newcomers. I'm a little surprised. If y'all understand what I mean when I say the newcomers. So she says the affected neighborhoods, she's giving me stats. The affected neighborhoods are the Bronx, the South Bronx, Hunts Point, Mott Haven, and West Farms. And I know those areas, though that was South Bronx. That's what we know as the South Bronx. And they've always been more on the poverty side than any other part of the Bronx. Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, Brownsville, and North Central Brooklyn. Okay. All right, Tamika, you know Brooklyn, Manhattan, East and Central Harlem. And I'm still surprised. Not with their newcomers. And Staten Island has that problem. So I'm a little surprised. But thank you for that information, Anika. We appreciate you. Hey, Miss Herlima, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Miss Herlima stepped into some new shoes on Saturday. We're going to come back and talk about that. But thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so let me be honest. I'm looking here and I'm seeing a group of immigrant owners are suing Mayor Mamdani. You have the ability to sue. I'm mad.
Why not? They could do everything else.
I'm mad. You're coming into this country and you're suing for your right. I'm sorry. I haven't connected with that concept yet. We can't go into these people's country and do anything. Do you remember last year and part of the year before and part of this year when they went over, when people went over into these countries and they were visiting, they were vacationing, and if they found something in their suitcase, they were locked up? And we can't function in other people's countries the way they function here. We can't go over into these countries and do these things. I'm sorry. I'm a little lost here. Now, again, Stephanie, I don't see the threat. I just don't see the threat. Now, maybe maybe my little almost 60 years, I'm still not, I don't know everything. I don't know, like Anika and Serge, they're saying things that I know nothing about. I just don't. This just doesn't pose a threat to me. And I'm gonna go to where you went, Lady Tamika. So we live. The highway divides us from an entirely different community. They're all over there. I don't buy my fruit and stuff from over there. I don't like the way it's kept. I'm accustomed to produce being kept in a refrigerated area, even if it's not, like in the case. Like, I think one of those, they're like certain, the ideal we were talking about, they have their berries in a case. Their mushrooms are in the case. The other supermarkets, they have them in the refrigerated area, in the fruit produce section. And that's a colder section. I'm not accustomed to having now in their country, they don't have that's what they do. They leave it, we have a different climate, different weather, different, it's different here. So I don't necessarily buy, and they have some good sales, if you will. I just don't buy my fruit from there. And listen, do you. I'm not complaining about it. I go over there, like to the doctor. I go over there for other reasons. And I see their big stands. They have huge stands, but it's not something that I gravitate to. Again, that proves that people, just like you said, Lady Tamika, people do what they want to do. People go where they want to go. Just because you're putting up this supermarket in this area, and now the bodega man feels like he's being, denied sales, and this other, the supermarket people feel like, they're denied sales. I think there's enough to go around for everybody. We got a comment. Let me read this comment. Why are the local stores ripping off the communities with their high prices? I went to one a while back and ice cream cost $8. Soda was $4. Haven't bought anything since unless it's on sale. They can become more competitive with their prices and not lose out. And again, that's my point. Do what you do. Do what you do. Sometimes we talk about these two supermarkets. Sometimes I'll open up the circular and they both have the same sales. So do you find that, Tamika?
Absolutely, I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So my thing is that the merchants that they're getting it from, the distribution centers that they're getting it from, they must be offering the same price. Because how, other things are more, like we can't get yogurt from T-Town. You get yogurt from T-Town, it's almost $10.
Yeah.
But if you go to Ideal, who is normally more expensive, you're going to get a sale on yogurt, or their normal price is half as much as T-Town. So people go where they want to go. You're going to find, again, like the comment was, maybe you need a little more competition, because I guarantee you the areas that Anika just sent over, they are robbing them like left and right.
Absolutely.
If they're in the deserted areas, their prices are skyrocketed because they don't have any other place to go. That's their most local supermarket. They're getting it. They're getting it. They're getting it. They're getting it. They're getting hit, and they're getting their money. So, and not only that, if they're in that area, a lot of people are getting SNAP benefits. So guess what? You're gonna charge extra money because it ain't coming from their pocket. So listen, I'm just still stuck on the immigrant stores suing. And my thing is, I think, and I could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong. I think ain't nothing to worry about. If you sell your stuff, whoever's loyal to you is going to be loyal to you. Because like I said, when I cross that bridge and I'm on the other side, they're packed. Their local people are packing out their produce stores and their fruit stands. That's what we used to call them years ago. Their fruit stands. And I don't think this is going to be no big problem. I'm sorry. All righty. Mayor fixed the city housing plan. He's holding the landlords accountable for the holes, the heat, and other violations. They are pulling in a stronger reinforcement plan, faster inspections, and here's the biggest part of this program. They are now, going to allow judges to override the landlord, put a management company or individual over collecting rent, making sure all the repairs are done. And they're not going to have as much latitude as they've been having because they have not been doing their jobs. And there is one Bronx area or building who is now challenging this. They want a judge to step in and get rid of the landlord so that they can get this broker, if you will, or this management crew or team or individual to come in, and they'll pay them the rent to ensure that the broken elevators have been taken care of and all of the things that these Bronxites have not been experiencing, which they've been paying their rent for. So they're like, judge, step in. Lady Tamika, is this good? Is this bad? Will this make a difference?
One would hope that it would make a difference, because we know for a fact that, people that live in these NYCHA homes have gone through traumatic things. Stoves not working. How am I supposed to feed my family? So now I got to go out and buy food every day because my stove doesn't work. I can't cook anything. Every time I turn around, there's, water coming up, on my floor. So I have to wear boots or galoshes. The heat doesn't work in the winter. The air doesn't work in the summer. These people have gone through stuff that you think about. You say to yourself, I wouldn't go, rodents, and feces, you trying to cook your meal on the kitchen counter, you got rodent feces and vermin, and children have to be exposed to, little babies have to be exposed. They got to stomp hard because when you go in the kitchen, there's a rat, so you got to stomp real hard. And then you're learning as a child. That's horrible. And then my thing is, I address the issue. I go to the landlord or the super or whomever I have to go to in that particular building, and you do nothing. And I've been going through this for years, 10, 20 years, and I still don't have a stove. I can't, I got to wrap my babies up in blankets and coats in the wintertime. The fact that you can get an external entity, a judge, to get this done. Because, my thing is, if this person is a landlord and hasn't fixed it in 10 years, they're not going to fix it in 15. They're not going to fix it in 20. And you got generations of families that are suffering. I think they should get that advocate that they need.
Okay. Shantice, what say you?
Yep, moving on up. Move them on out. All these slumlords, all of these landlords who are doing what they're supposed to do. Meanwhile, nothing is getting repaired. I went to one of our local laundromats, and every time I went there, I noticed their machines was going up another $1. And I said to them at one point, why are y'all getting more and more expensive? But I started seeing the repairs being done in there. At one point, they snatched all the TVs off the wall. But then when I went back in there 2 or 3 visits later, they had brand new TVs up, brand new sliding doors. Now they got the feature where you can, now you have to buy a new laundry card, and now they have an app. So they haven't quite gotten to the point where you can now use your phone to tap the machine to get it to go. But God forbid you lose your laundry card, you can go on your app, and your app shows how much money is on your laundry card, and all you got to do is go to the machine and get a new one. If you lose your laundry card and someone picks it up and uses it in there, they're able to tell you which machine is being used with your card. So now you know whose clothes is being. Yeah. Wow. So now you see where the money is going. Like I say, it's expensive. It's more expensive than the other 3 laundromats that they're sandwiched in, but you see the features as to where all of this money is going.
Really
it's
nice.
Sad that they can't say this for where they live. You can't live at the laundromat. You can't live at the bodega. You can't live any other the place that's in the neighborhood, any other business in the neighborhood. So I'm paying you rent, and of course, eventually repairs are gonna have to get done. But I'm not seeing where my money is going. So now I know these landlords are hot, and oh well, you should have been doing your due diligence. This is what they're relying on you to do. So now they have to send someone else in to now do your job.
Okay. I'm all for it. I'm with you, ladies. I'm all for it. Guess what? If you were doing your job, this would not be a consideration. And I'm sure they're not going to, bring someone in for one infraction. These problems they have been experiencing for quite some time. The mold, the broken elevators. This is okay. Enough is enough time. This is not, the elevator broke down on Wednesday. We never had this problem before, and what are you going to do about it? We need a judge. No, it's going to be a certain amount of infractions, because they're going to have to pay. They're going to have to pay. And, even though they can't leave it to the landlord, but I tell you one thing, it'll wake them up, because one of the steps would probably be the property would be pulled from you. You're not going to be able to keep your property anymore. If your property gets turned over to the judge, and the judge has to give it to someone to man this property, do you realize what you're going to have to do in order to get that property back into your hands? That's a lot of responsibility, and you're going to be on their radar. Now they're going to pay attention to you. So this is going to jolt a lot of them, not everybody, because everybody doesn't move, but this is going to jolt a lot of them into, oh no, I can't let, so I'm going to have to take this rent, and I'm going to have to get this taken care of, and now that the residents know that this is an option, you done.
Oh yeah.
You are done. Because all I got to do is tell Tamika. And all Tamika got to do is mention it to Shantice. And Shantice tells Al. And before you know it, there's 5 of us in this building. And when you look up, it's 10 of us in this building. Stuff like that is infectious. Word of mouth will kill you quicker than any paid advertisement. So once people hear that, we could take this landlord and get, they gone to the first smoking train going to the courthouse. Well, I think this is excellent. I think this is going to jolt a lot of them into, and I agree. Somebody said, Terrence had a comment, and I wanted to read his comment about this. Well, somebody had a comment earlier about maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was in my brain. They're going to definitely take care of that real quick. All right, Shantice, please show us this this video again. Do we have to look at it like this?
We should not, because it was recent. So we should be we should be good.
I want to get broken neck. Trying to look at it.
A group of men that there was an argument going on between that group, and surveillance video shows how it escalated. You could see that fight between the group turns physical, and the boy is just standing there behind on his bike. You could see a man with a white t-shirt steps back from the group, fires at the rest of the group. Police say 2 men got shot. The boy was also hit, and he then...
All right, Shantice, you got first dibs on this one. Viv said, hey, I want to know if you see what I see. So I don't know. What do you see? Do you find anything? Because I didn't see anything.
I mean, I saw what looked like, okay, you have this altercation, and you're not caring who's around. So you see the baby there. That's what I see. I see that he would, because when Vivian was first describing it, it sounded like, maybe he was like behind the scenes, and then
right. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Right. And then these gunshots started flying. And somehow, of course, it's no mystery as to how stray bullets can get to somebody. But when I'm looking at the video, I see he's right there on the corner, chilling. He's probably riding by, and like the average kid, I'm hearing and seeing an altercation, and I'm being a little nosy. And unfortunately, because I'm right there and you're ignorant, you just pull out the gun, and it really didn't matter to you who was standing around. But you clearly saw that kid. You clearly saw that kid there. That's what I'm seeing there. And it's, especially with the incident that took place with the young kid getting shot and killed in the park in Queens. And one of the major things I kept highlighting and yelling about were all of the bystanders. And my thing was, all y'all, a lot more of y'all could have been shot. Had that kid who shot that other kid decided to get stupid and just started spraying in the crowd, a lot of y'all would have got shot, because a lot of y'all was standing there watching this boy get beat up. And you don't understand how you set yourself up for your family to have the woe it's me moment. Stop putting yourself in these, situations. And a lot of times, unfortunately, unless these children are taught that, they don't understand the real danger in that. I'm just figuring, I'm hearing something, I could just stop real quick and see, then I'm gonna be about my way. But here he was right smack dab in the middle of the argument. Like, he was right there in the middle. And we really have to stress to these kids, like, as soon as you even hear it, you make sure you go in the opposite direction. You make sure you ain't nowhere near. Because sometimes you hear things, you're not sure exactly where it's coming from. As soon as you are hearing someone's voice elevated, you be out. Don't even, because unfortunately now you're not even here to warn your peers.
Right. All right. I think I know what Viv's talking about, and you may have touched on it, Shantice. Lady Tamiko, what do you see in the background that Vivian may have been pointing out or caught her attention?
So you see, some brothers hanging out, it looked like at first, and anybody who has lived in New York the majority of their life, you can see that before, and it's kind of funny because he's waiting, lurking around. This guy goes back and forth around this mailbox thing. And you see, like, if I was walking down the street and I'm looking you know, you automatically know. You can feel it. Okay, that's not play at this point. Before this guy comes around the corner from the mailbox, you say to yourself, you diagnose, you discern, okay, it's not safe for me to be here. This child is sitting there looking at it. And my thing is, I don't know, per se, you know, back then we weren't really taught per se, you know, like they didn't sit us down and say, well, this comes from being in your environment and diagnosing, okay, that's not a safe environment. Let me cross the street. Let me make that right turn, whatever, you know. And this youth is sitting there watching this guy go back and forth around the mailbox. Had you been in that type of environment, or had been, you know, at this point, you have to tell children, you know, you have to sit them down, you know, to let them know, okay, that behavior, something's going to jump off. Even if he didn't have a gun, you know, he's getting ready to do something. And unfortunately, he got the crossfire of what was going on. You know, anybody that I can think of would know. Just looking at, y'all were calm for a second. Now all of a sudden there's, you know, back in the day you say scatter, you know, not even that. You just sat right there. And maybe in your mindset, you think, okay, I'm on a bike, I can get away. Bullets are faster than bikes.
Yeah, I think that's what she was pointing to. I could be wrong, but I think she was pointing to him just planted there. And, you know, nobody's saying that, you know, it's his fault. However, we are saying that he should have been old enough to know, you know, see this, unfortunately, Shanti's kind of touched on it. It becomes a show, unfortunately. Now you got front center seats, like you said, you know, with Jaden Pierre in the park, you know, everybody standing around looking. This is fun. Let me pull out my camera. Let me look. Get away, go, leave. You know, I remember growing up, we just didn't stand around for no fight. And we didn't even have to worry about guns back then. People didn't pull out guns when we were growing up. But, you know, if you are planted, as we just saw this young boy was, you're going to catch a stray. You're gonna because look at how close he was even to the guy who came from behind the mailbox. You know, this should not be a fascination with all of this arguing. He had not anticipated again that there was going to be gunfire. But can we really say in this day and time that we can't expect that? We shouldn't expect that.
People don't fight with their hands.
Right.
Even because I'm looking at his body, he's turned this way, and the guy that's going around, so he might not have seen him in his peripheral. You know, New Yorkers have to be peripheral, whether you care, whether you want to be or not, because his body is turned. You'll see, you know, he's not looking. He's so busy looking at what's happening across the street.
Right.
What's on his shoulder.
Right. And that's all a part of being stationary and fixated.
Right.
Stationary and fixated. You are going to be unfortunate. It's so sad that at 12, there wasn't a lesson learned. In other words, he didn't get shot in the leg or arm or got scared. He didn't get hit at all, but like, I know the next time I won't sit. There was no lesson learned for him. So unfortunately, there needs to be, like you said, we have to make this a concentrated conversation. You know, I tell you, my girls are grown. My girls know the street. They know how to move. My granddaughter, Lord, just kill me. Just kill me, Jesus.
The body language from both of you, my goodness.
Oh, I didn't realize she did anything.
Because people think I'm so extra when it comes to her. And it's situations like this. Because as Pastor Steph was talking, I remember, like, I can't think of the specific instance, but I remember a few times me being in the street, even as a young adult, and like how that child was able to sit and he's watching the other guy get beat up in the street. and we've been standing there. So there's this big brawl on our right, and we like, wait, look at him over there, look at him over there, look at him over there. Like the one on the side, like how this one was on the side, how the one who started shooting was on the side. So while everybody's fixated on what's going on to the right, we're sitting like, nah, you see him? Yeah, no, he must be with them. He must be with them. Like he must be with the one that's getting beat up, or by the way he moving, he must be with the ones that's doing the beating up. She doesn't have that 90th sense. It's just like, we be like, the simple things, we be like, how did you not see the school bus with the horn and the person standing on top with the other bullhorn? How did you not hear? And it is so scary because of things like this, because things are getting dumber and slower in the streets as the days go on. You have to be able to, you have to be an on point mother, father, aunt, uncle, grandmother, neighbor, stranger. I'm the type, and I've had people tell me, don't be saying that to people's kids. Shut up. Okay, because listen, God forbid my child is out here. I would pray that someone cares more about helping her than who's your parent, or are they gonna get mad that I'm saying something to you? Okay, I'd rather sit and argue with you, mother, for being slow, and maybe you just not paying attention. And I've had to say to people, do me a favor. I went to the Popeyes drive-thru. First of all, I hate that you're standing at the window and this is a drive-thru, not a walk-thru. And this lady was standing there with her younger daughter. And I had to before I could fully drive off, I had to kind of roll up to her, and I rolled the window down. I said, please do me a favor. I know I don't know you, but please move your child from by where people are pulling off. Because if someone pulls up to this window too quick, they're hitting you and or your child. And she was like, thank you. Now, why did I have to say that to her? I don't know. But it just goes to show that someone cares more about your child than if you and I are going to get into it. And this is what needs to be said to these kids. You have to take time with them now.
So my daughter is working, and they went to the after school program, her and her friends. So, so her and her friends wanted to go to the park, which is right by like the school where she goes to the after school, or was after school or camp, whatever. And the job is right there. So she was like, you know what? Okay, there's freedom. You know, I don't want to smother you. Go ahead with your friends to the park. When we heard Mariah was in the park, it was like, just bury us.
Was it that bad?
Because all I could think of was, Lord, if some bust out in that park, what is my baby gonna do? Is she gonna duck? Is she gonna run? Where's she gonna run to? So now that, oh my gosh, when they tell you that having children and grandchildren is like walking around with your heart outside your body, yo, it is no better. You should have seen me and Shantice. We were like, Pop!
We still have those in existence. Let's now start the petition of shutting these parks down.
We were so done. And we were like, why is she? And you know what? When we were growing up, we could go to the park. We could. And it's so bad because now you are robbing these children. So here's the thing. We keep telling them, get off those devices, go outside and play. Then you get a heart attack because they're outside. It's like a double-edged sword that these people were so inundated with their or focused on their fight. And how could you pull out a gun? All these people out there, forget about the boy who had stopped to watch. This is the broad daylight. all the people out there. It doesn't matter to these idiots. This is what you have to face. This is broad daylight here. This ain't no dog late at night. He shouldn't have been outside on his bike. Because the fact of the matter is, had he not stopped and he kept on going, he still could have been hit by the stray, he or someone else. But you have now this chemical combustion going on. You have the idiots who could care less, who's out there. All they want to do is fire a gun. You have the innocent kids who are just not, and I still don't know if this is what Vivian was pointing out, but you know, you still have the children who are like stopping to look at this. And Shantice and I talked about what happened in Roy Wilkins Park with everybody out there with their phones. And then when the gunfire went off, everybody started running. And we talked about the fact that had he got stupid and started, how many people would have gotten shot? Because you needed to stand there and watch. You found it fine to stand there and watch this kid get just beat up. That was fine. And now here comes the gunfire. And you would have been possibly someone who was hit had that been the case. So we do have to have a concentrated conversation with our children to just, what do you do? What do you do? Because we've seen these things happen at parks. You know, and if we were to say something to my daughters, like, she's old enough to go to the park. She should be able to go to the park. She was with her friends at the park.
I'm not old enough to go to the park. I'm not old enough to go to the park.
You know, and again, it's scary because we are literally robbing them of all the things that they really should be enjoying in life. Really.
And the sad part about that thing is you really can't teach that. You know, right. You can verbalize it, but you learn by experience. And I'll give you a for instance.
Right. That's right.
I have a cousin of mine that lives in North Carolina. My house used to be the place where the cousins went to have fun in the summer. Now, this particular cousin, you couldn't pay her to have it. I mean, we were walking down the street and there was an exchange going on. Now, mind you, we're children and I'm saying, come on, but I want to see what they're doing. What are they doing? And I'm saying to myself, so she made me so mad. I left her because I mean, we were kids and you don't think about it. But at that time, I left her. Well, I wanted to see. And then she saw that I left her and she didn't know the area. So she was like, wait. And I'm like, it was every time. And I kept trying to tell her, okay, don't walk down that street. Come down this street. You know in your own neighborhood what to do, which parts to go to. There are certain stores I'm going to walk past. Okay, I'm not going to go to this store. I'm not going to go to this store. I'm going to go to the third store because the two stores over here I would never go in. Because, why your milk look like that? Why your cans on your shelf look like? You know that as a child. I'm not even buying potato chips in this store. And so you diagnose your area. You discern your area. And you, unfortunately, cannot teach that. I can tell you blah, 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 blah. But until you have experienced it one time. And the sad part is about Jacob, that was his one and only time.
Yeah.
So.
Did you see the distress that Shantice was in as you were talking?
Because it's so true. It's almost like, well, it's not almost. It's like you can't teach someone how to have personality. You can't teach common sense. It's like grace. God gives it to you or it doesn't. And even like you said, now, I say the same thing Lady Tamika always says. But see, nowadays, we ain't got time to make it into the store. Because I ain't got the time to make it into the store and realize I ain't got no business in the store. Your sign outside, the demeanor of outside, lets me know if I should even be walking in this store? Like, that's
The
how,
glass on the wall.
Yes, like, did you clean your sign? What do your pictures look like? Do you have too many pictures? Why are there so many pictures? I said I can't see in your store. See, stuff like that, I gotta pay. That's what I'm not even old enough to go to the park. You have to now be on such high alert with everything. And as I said, people really be thinking, as they say in the streets, I be dragging it. Oh, you ain't let Shanice do this. You told she couldn't do that because of this. And I'm like, yeah, first of all, she is not like us. She ain't like us.
Nothing like her mother and her aunts. Nothing like her mother.
There's a deficiency happening here. Okay? Already I'm dealing with a handicap. All right? So now on top of the handicap, there's certain things that sometimes we have to say to each other and we on it. There's certain times they say things to me like, Shantice, how you? Or I say to them, ma'am, did you really just do that? And we already on it. Now you're talking about children who you don't want to scare them, but at the same time, you got to scare them because I can't let you learn from experience, because this was an experience. We just watched an experience and there was no learning from it, like Pastor Steph always says. So now I have to stress it to you and now tap into God as to now how to bring you down from whether you're scared or whatever. But I gotta really let you know how serious this is, that you don't know how to look both ways when you cross the street, okay? Because now you can't only look for cars now when you cross in the street. You now got to listen for arguments. You now got to watch for who's on a scooter. You now got to do this. It's like you got to pay attention to so many things. This being sober, being vigilant is so extreme now, where you can't even walk down with a certain level in your headphones because you have to be on such high alert. I would dare to walk down with both AirPods in my ear. Right. If I have the regular headphones on, one is kind of slanted, but I don't let it look like one is kind of slanted, because if you look at me, think you're going to catch me off guard. I need to let you think that I can't hear you. But it's just too much. Stay in the house.
It is. It's so sad because, like you said, and let me tell you something. Beautiful girl, very smart, but just like the instinct is off, and we were like, it's like sometimes, and I have a look. I have a look that I give you, grown or young. There's a look I give you, like help, and Mariah gets the look. And she's like, what, ma'am? I'm like, right, please don't make me worry in the house. Because
you'll never make it outside. You'll never make it outside.
So I guess she couldn't be one of them ones that sit on the front porch. Remember, we used to sit on the porch.
I was just about to say, Lady Tamika, that look Pastor Steph said, there's been a couple of times she's come, honestly, can I play outside? I'm sorry. Define outside. You mean on the other side of the door? I'm sorry. No, please. Just the question alone is making me pass out. You know?
Her mother at 8 was a latchkey kid. Shawnice used to leave the house. Shantice was gone because there's 5-year difference. So Shantice was over at junior high school. Shawnice was still going up the block and a half to the school. And I could trust Shawnice to go up the block to the block and a half to the school and come back. And she just called me, Mommy, I'm home. When she introduced that thought, same school, same block and a half, me and Shantice almost had simultaneous heart attacks. We were like, whoa, where? I used to do it. I was 8. Okay, I'm sorry. Are you seeing what we seeing? Are you just living in la la land? Yo, so you have to know your children as well. Like I said, beautiful, talented, smart, but just the instinct is not quick. And I look at her and I say to her all the time, boy, you ain't your mother and your aunts, because they were always on it, always on it. it's just you and my. We got work on this because this here, you're gonna be 35 and I'm gonna be worried from the grave.
That's when I'll stop holding your hand when we cross the street.
Yeah. So the other day, my youngest, we were giving something to a neighbor. So I sent both of them kind of like, and Tamasia comes back in the house and goes, accomplished. I'm like, what happened? She said, Mariah crossed the street all by herself. Now it's a one-way street.
Wait, this is news to me.
It's a one-way street. It's a one-way street. But you would have thought Mariah crossed the Van Wyck. And I'm like, okay. I said, good. Because we have to start teaching her, leave it to her mother. She believes that Mariah could conquer the world. And the two of us are sitting back, holding our heart. And somebody needs to defibrillate us. I'm like, yo. So, we're joking about this, but we're telling you some real stuff. And this is what Lil Jacob, he was planted there. And had he kept going, could he have dodged that bullet? Possibly. Because like I said, even if he was just riding by and he didn't stop, if the bullet had been launched a little earlier, he still would have gotten. But we have to work on our children because we can't stop. We can't stop. Thank God they caught him. Thank God they caught him. But we can't stop what this world is doing. And I'm going to segue really quickly into, we walked this weekend we had a prayer and awareness walk. And one of the awarenesses was gun violence. And, really, we had someone speak, regarding the gun violence. Stop the violence. And we are losing our children. We are losing our residents. We're losing people. I mean, this is really, as Lady Tamika always says, precious cargo. This is real. This is real, and you really have to make sure that we are really active in these communities, so that we can help to stop a lot of this nonsense. And there's a lot of different ways we can do it. And I'll just include that in my closing. But Anika says, my niece is the same way. Can't trust her yet on her own. Gotta truly train them to be more aware of her surroundings. And it's very true. So, we laugh, we joke, but it's very scary. And they can't even live children lives. We always say, get off those devices and da 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 da, and they have no other alternative, in a sense. So he's out there riding a bike. We used to love riding our bike. Right. You know what I'm saying? That was the bike riding. We used to get, meet up with our friends, and we're gonna ride. And now, just the simple things of life, these children cannot enjoy. But ladies, it's great as always. Thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation. And we pray you have a blessed day.
Thank you too.
Everybody.
Thank you. Oh, wait, Shantice, I need you back on.
Really?
Okay, I'm closing down a little earlier so we could talk about this week's prayer and awareness walk, Breaking the Yoke Community Conference. All the shirts were done by you and Serge, and you took care of the front of the shirt. Serge took care of the back one by one, and this is crazy because, how many shirts in total were there?
There were at least anywhere between 150 to like 170 shirts ran. At least like almost 200 shirts ran.
And that's the number that I had last week because we had to do some, sorting and stuff like that. And I had 150 to 170. and you and Serge every front has Serge every back.
Yes.
Amazing job the two of you did.
Thanks.
Solo team, that's why it sounds crazy, but solo team, because you didn't help him with the back and he didn't help you with the front. And all I could do is thread the needle every once in a while. So I was completely useless.
You were heavy in every other area.
Thanking God for the ability. Let's talk about what you saw, what you experienced. How was it for you?
It was really, really, I can't even really think of the word. When I was asked the other day, it was just like, I love the way everything came together. It wasn't a question of whether it was going to come together or not. The biggest question for me was how many people were going to, not even how many people, but how it was going to look for all of the people in the individual groups as far as the actual walk. So all of us walking to the park, how was that going to look? And it ended up working out the exact way God needed it to work out. Not the way we had it planned or we wanted to see it, but the exact way God had for it to work out. There was some groups that ended up coming together that wasn't originally supposed to be together, and it ended up making it an even more dynamic walking experience. When you had the routes, and with the routes, certain groups ended up kind of meeting up at certain points, and I wasn't intentional, but after a while, you guys are gonna have to end up meeting up somehow. Even that was just kind of like, oh, okay, even maybe the 2 or 3 blocks we walked together, that said a lot. And then actually getting to the park and having, the health fair section and your processional. I love the processional, you pulling out each awareness group and having us all come together and then in a circle so that we can officially open up in prayer. And it was really amazing. I told someone last night about how you were able to get the deputy president of Queens there, and they were like, how'd she pull that off? And I was like, Jesus, there was a whole lot of pulling off going on. With you speaking on the shirts, God ensured that Serge and I was very strategic, because with the amount of shirts, we had to make sure our checks and balances were always on point. And I hate doubling back. I hate having, it's one thing to keep going over certain parts, but to have to double back just means more work. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not making 5 shirts. We're not making 40 shirts. We're talking about almost 200 shirts. And actually, we did make at least 200 shirts, because when we got to the park, there were shirts being pulled out of that box with no names on them. And I'm like, where are these shirts coming from? We were able to give shirts to people who just popped up the day of. People who said, oh, I don't care about a shirt, but then when they got there, saw everyone else with a shirt.
They wanted a shirt, yes.
Right. And they're like, oh, well, we don't see your name, but yet shirts was just popping about the box. And I'm like, I don't know where these shirts are coming from, but whatever, give it to them. You get a shirt, you get a shirt, you get a shirt, everybody gets a shirt. I don't know where these shirts were coming from, but with everyone's name being on it, and us still being able to just give away shirts, we have people like, oh, I want to give you a donation for it. And I'm like, listen, thank you, but it's a Sabbath, so already we don't do exchange of any money. And obviously God will work some miracle out.
Right.
So we ain't taking your money, even if it's a donation. You hold on to that and you just take the shirt. So it was a really, really good experience to have out. It moved from being a women's conference to a community conference. It moved from being within our church to being outside. We could have never done that indoors. That would have never worked indoors, the way God had us orchestrated for it to be outside. So it was really, really, really good. Really good. I really enjoyed it.
Very, very, very moving experience. Just to see it all come together, every aspect of it, the walkers, because I didn't see the walkers when they were at their starting points.
Right.
saw them coming in, and the shirts were, the yellow shirts were just vibrant. The green shirt was vibrant. The gray shirt was, we had 15 different colors. And the merchant we used, we could have chosen up to 72. So I wasn't worried about this 17 awarenesses, because it was just a matter of, we kind of followed the awareness code. So suicide is normally yellow. We had the puzzle pieces.
Yes.
For the neurodivergent, we followed pretty much what the norm was. But there were those that didn't have an awareness, like social media health, and we chose green, and they looked great in those lines. It was just as you saw them coming into the park, and as we went into the circle, and the Browns, oh my gosh, it was like only, we talked about being outside, but if we were inside, the colors wouldn't have mattered. It was that sun. When I tell you, it was the most beautiful day we could have ever had. We had shade. I was really worried about being in the sun, but God provided like this a level of shade. You literally had to go sit in the sun if you wanted the sun.
Right.
Where we were seated to see the presentations. And I just thought about just all the shirts, just in a church, in a building. It wouldn't have that same effect. Even the browns and the grays, something that's not as vibrant as a yellow or a lime or a red.
Right.
The sun, the outside, just, really blew it up. The presentations were amazing. We even had someone on the spectrum actually give us a presentation spontaneously. And because we have such a wonderful set of band members, they gave him a platform to play. And I looked at it and I had tears in my eyes, because I was saying, this is what this is about.
Right.
This is what this is about. To be able to, he came to me a couple of times. He was like, Pastor Steph, I don't even know how he knew my name. I guess everybody's calling me Pastor Steph, so he was paying attention. He was like, Pastor Steph, can I just play? And just the Spirit of the Lord just didn't have me say anything else, but, just give me a little minute, things out. He came to me again. And by that time, the band had already, put themselves together, set up, and they just joined him. And it was just like, this is what God wanted us to do. This is the impact. Can you imagine us walking, and then here we are, one of our very own, he's asking, I'm like, no, I'm sorry, we don't have no time. This is the schedule.
Right.
And he was, I said, look at you. You ended up with a whole band. Little face. He was like, thank you, Pastor Steph. And I was like, no, his name is Maxwell, but he was amazing. And, all of the team, I got to give a shout out to Hetty. I got to give a shout out to Anika,
Yes,
Vivian, Teresa, Shantice, Messiah, and Javid, and Rohan, and Paul, and Kira, Tamasia. We just all of and that was the home team. Jimmy, the home team that just really made it happen. For all of those who jumped in, Akusa, oh my gosh, Renee, and Sasha, and Debbie, and Claudia, and Sharon, and Sister Anne Marie. Oh my goodness. Those are just people who just jumped in. We can't talk enough about our vendors.
Yes.
They weren't vendors. They were just a blessing to us. Let me get my glasses. I got some comments before we go. Anika says, great job, Surgeon Shantice. Beautiful colors and great job, both of you. Oh, thank you, Shamar. Thank you, Ketty. Shamar. Yes, great job, Shantice and Serge. Beautiful colors. Okay. Both of you, great job, both of you. We had sickle cell awareness there. We had the Adabo clinic there to do the rapid HIV and STD testing. We had mental illness. We had OBGYN. We had good morning, 911 Revive. Good morning. We had who else? We had free barber. We had a free haircut. We had a free team there for fashion, and we had what else? We had masseuse was there. Oh my goodness.
Yes, it's great.
Yes, God came through with the weather. Amen. We got another comment from an attendee. What a day, what a day, what a day. To God be the glory and forever be praised. Phenomenal job, 7-Day Sabbath, Church of God, Jamaica, Queens. Looking forward to the next one, God willing. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. All the planning that went into this, all the phone calls, all the letters. Faith, we want to thank you, Faith, for being on board and being a part of this entire event. Amazing job done. We had Athena, who we normally have here. She was a hit. I got like 2-3 requests that they get her number. Again, we had our finale band and our concert. It was just amazing. And again, when you start itemizing, you always miss somebody. Again, we had Mrs. Ebony Young, the Deputy Borough President of Queens. When I tell you, a phenomenal, transparent, and real woman of God. Her presentation, her talk was just amazing. And it was early to give some level of stimulus. I didn't know what she was going to say. She didn't know what she was going to say. She was asking me, what do you want me to say? I was, listen, you're a woman of God. You let God give you the words. I have nothing about it. I'm just letting you know you were invited here to speak. And I'm so grateful that the Spirit of the Lord had me to invite her, because she needed to see. Ty Hankerson's office, the council member of Queens District, I think it's 28. I think we're 28. He came through. There were many donations. Oh my goodness. We had water out of the wazoo. We had Ideal Supermarkets. We had Key Food. Supermarkets donate beverages. We had someone donate food. Oh my goodness, when I tell you, we had donations. Oh, the financial donations. We want to thank all of the financial donations. Again, please reach out. Coach, COACH, 4, Christian Life at yahoo.com. Please reach out to me. Breaking the Yoke WC at Yahoo. If you want the QR code to see, we're building the website. So we not only have the conference program, but now all the highlights, pictures. I'm having people send pictures and videos. So we're going to be adding, so in case you missed it, we're going to be adding that. Our captains, we had AJ, Minister AJ came through for us. He was a captain of gun violence. We had our sister Madrine Straker from the Bronx. She had five awarenesses. She had elder care, autoimmune disease. She had cardiovascular. And then on the day of, she picked up cancer and domestic violence. And then she picked up like some other stray. It was amazing. We had our Pastor Jeff. His wife, Pastor Nicole Burns, she had mental health. She was the captain of mental health. We had our sister Moyette Green. She was the captain, Minister Moyette Green. She was the captain of suicide. We had Vivian and Teresa. They were the captains of childcare and the neurodivergent for the autism and dyslexia. We had Shantice. She was the captain of abstinence and stalking, as well as the human and sex trafficking. We am I missing anybody? I think I got all.
Your captains. Oh, you had Nadia, the captain of social media.
Yes, Nadia, a captain of social media. We had Kenny Carter, who is the captain of that entire faith team. Everybody just stepped up to the plate. We did not have one sour word in that park. You know, my thing is, whoever's supposed to be at the party is at the party. I would have more people, but we had the right people. We just didn't have people. We had the right people there. And we just could not. The clothes, oh my God, the clothes that were there to be given away. You know, that's what I said, too bad more people weren't there, because we really could have really distributed a lot of clothes. You know, it just amazing day. And again, all the hard work that went into just getting that day, and God held that weather for us. He really came through wonderfully for this group. It's his baby, you know. This is his, and so already God has started dropping some things for next year, and you know, so now we're gonna have to start a little earlier. Anika says, beautiful moment with Maxwell and his trumpet. Yes, that's the one I was talking about. Katie says, yes, Anika. So thank you all. And like I said, when you gave us your prayers, and Miss Grace constantly texting me, we're praying for you. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. And just those prayers of support that kept me physically able to go through the day after, because every one of us left the house we didn't sleep. Nobody slept. Nobody slept. And we just went from cutting an onion, running a machine, Serge, oh my God, Serge and Jimmy, with them picking up all of the generator, and oh my God, the moving, Shamar, the moving of all of the items. At the end, the boys coming through to help load the truck. This stuff here, you can't pay for.
Right.
You had $1 million. That wouldn't have helped them to be able to endure. I mean, amazing. Serge had like 3 hours sleep, and he was back up going to get the generator and, you know, load the truck. And it was just amazing. Just amazing. Just amazing. Just amazing. Giving God thanks for what he's done. You know, so I'm telling you, you missed it. If you were not there, you missed it. You missed it. You really, really missed it. And if I were you, when we start, when we start announcing it, you better jump on board. It's funny because as I was saying that, we have a comment and a question, and the question is it too early to begin the Breaking the Yoke Financial Fund? No, it's not. No, it's not. And that's part of me, you know, starting to plan early what God gave. And that's why I said when we start, because let me tell you something, that $12, y'all can kiss that $12 goodbye. That was God's introductory offer to really give no one an excuse to come out. You could not complain about the money. $12. You had a shirt, you had food, unlimited. You could just go back as many times as you wanted to. You had a day's worth of presentation. You had so much for $12, but it will never be that way again. Trust me when I tell you. Trust me when I tell you. You know, God has really just came out of the box on this one. First of all, you ain't going to nobody's conference. I don't care what they offer you. You ain't going to nobody's conference for nothing for $12.
Right.
If they don't offer you anything, just at the word conference is $150. And you know, no, I couldn't believe the stuff that God was giving us to give for $150 for someone else. And all he was collecting on our end was the 12. Because our normal shirts are at 12. I've seen a shirt on Etsy. It said think in a period. White shirt, black letters, $40. We don't charge $40 for our shirts. So listen, we will definitely start early. You don't want to miss it. Every year it gets better and better. And there were still things that just wasn't done. And you know, I was so upset because I didn't get, you know, to do certain things. The interaction wasn't as much as I would have liked it to be. But guess what? Every word came back phenomenal, amazing. Please let us know. I didn't realize it was going to be this. You know, when y'all were talking about it, you only envision this, but in actuality, I'm glad I came out because I saw how great this is. So we will definitely get started much earlier because it's going to be much bigger next year. We got, hey, Shantice from Brian. What's going on, Brian, my brother? We miss you. Thank you for joining us in this late hour. Kenny says, yes, that $12 was a gift from God. Absolutely. So, Shantice, I'm about to close and get up out of here. Thank you so much for joining me to just cover, you know, this little bit. Every once in a while, we'll come back. We'll talk about it, but we will be talking about this because our plans will start in September. God's already given the time for us to start. That's how big it's going to be. We started in January. We started 6 months out. This time, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, 10 months. So that must be big. If God is giving us 10 months out, that's big. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. This one here, you weren't there, you officially missed out. Thank you, Shantice. What else can I say? But thank you to everybody who believed in us, who believed God for that day, who did not find it robbery to come out. You know, I know some people just stayed home. Some people had other things to do. Some people had other plans, but we're going to start in September this year. You know, let me say this before we go. When we started in January, we started telling people, I have never heard of something more silly than, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. That's too far away. I don't know what I'm doing at that time. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If nothing is on your calendar, guess what you're doing? Nothing. I keep trying to explain to people, you're not being invited to church anymore. It's not an invite. And I don't care what church you're being invited to, as long as it's a Christian church. And a lot of people may not agree with me, but this is what God is giving me. To much is given, much is required. When God lays it on your heart to come out, when God is offering you an opportunity to go to church, every church preaches something unified that every other church is preaching. And every church is teaching and preaching something different than other churches are preaching. But God is using one thing to connect his people, and his name is Jesus. So when you're invited to church, I can't say you can only be invited or you should only go to a church that I'm affiliated with or where I am. Because once, all God wants is that interest. That's all he wants. He says, just come to me as you are. And most people think clothing. Most people think, oh, I got to get dressed up. When he says come as you are, he means the entire package. Don't worry about your clothes. Don't worry about how nasty and dirty and filthy you are. Don't worry about what you have not accomplished. Don't worry about whether you've been in jail, whether you've been on drugs, whether you've been promiscuous. He says, don't worry about none of that. Just come. And that's why every door of every church needs to be open. And we preach Jesus. Because God's going to take that foundation and build on it. And the word of God has already said to us, broad the road that many will travel and will lead to destruction. And narrow the road that only few will find. Ooh, pay attention. Find. But will lead to eternal life. So you got to understand that he draws you, but the onus is on you. As my grandmother would say, are you going to gallop with the gang? You know, she used to say, you know, they have those sayings. And she say, oh, everybody want to gallop with the gang. That's the road that leads to destruction. But are you going to search and find the truth? So in other words, he's drawing you to any church, right? Are you going to, now whatever's being preached, whatever's being taught is going to be taught. But are you going to study to show yourself approved? Because in that study time is going to be the time where he delivers what he wants to deliver to you. I say all the time, the world teaches you and the Bible teaches you how to love your man. How to love a man. How to love a man. So in other words, a woman wants to love her husband. God's going to teach you, the Bible's going to teach you, the world will give you some pointers. But God himself, in his relationship with you, will teach you how to love your man. He's going to put himself in a position where you can develop that level of relationship with him so that he can grab you for him. Woo! Pay attention. Not the him man, but the him God. Because see, once he teaches you, then you will filter all of that into that relationship. Man, that's the same thing I'm talking about now. Go to church. When the invite comes, understand it's a call. You have to understand that we all can't, if we're a Baptist denomination, that everybody's not, and we believe that Baptist is the way to go. We have to understand that everybody's not going to go to the Baptist church. We are Church of God in Christ. Oh, everybody, if you ain't in Church of God in Christ, we can't be messing with you. We can't be involved with you. We can't connect with you because you got to be under our banner. Everybody is not going to have a Church of God in Christ next door to them. We are Sabbatarians, and everybody ain't jumping into the Saturday worship, the Sabbath worship. But God just needs you to answer the call. And he says, let the wheat and the tare grow together, and I will separate. And that's why when we invited people to come out to the conference in January, and they were like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. You missed the mark. When you just sat at home and you thought there was something better for you to do. Listen, I'm not telling you because the Breaking the Yoke community conference is put into my hands. Again, when I say to you, go ahead to that Baptist church. When I say to you, go ahead to that, my grandmother would have never taught this. And I really had to go before the Lord for this because that's not what I was taught. But God had to give me. I'm doing my work in you. She had her journey, and that's what I did with her. But what I'm doing with you is something different. So I know that whatever God is giving Stephanie, When he has any one of us reach out to you, it's a call. There was something going on in that park on Saturday, July 25th, that you were supposed to be at. You're supposed to be there. And if we continue to keep thinking in our own head, it's not going to be good enough, I'm too tired, everybody else ain't coming, so I ain't got nobody to go with, whatever it is, if God called you, listen, understand, we're just the middleman. When you get that invite, when you get that call, the invite comes from us, but the call comes from God. When someone says, you know what, I'm going to church, come on to church. The invite is from us, but the ultimate call is from God. He's calling your name. And that's what was happening on July 25th. He was calling you out. Just be there. I have something for you. So when I put the word out this time, God spares, make sure you jump on early, because this is going to be unlike any other year. And we're going to have to make sure that we're always on point, that we're hearing God. He says, my sheep hear my voice. All of this, I don't know where I'm going to be, and I'll let you know, and there's nothing on your calendar. God is telling you from early, fill your calendar with this right now. All the people who come out for a couple of hours and they got to go and all of that kind of stuff. No. It's the day. And it's done on the Sabbath day that belongs to him anyway. So all of this, I got multiple things to do. You already jacked up. You already messed up. The word of God says that the Sabbath day is his. So some may want to argue, Sunday's the Sabbath day and all of that. Just go back to your word. Never changed. Always that. So when I ask people, listen, can you be a part of this? Because God has called me to talk to you. It's for the day. I can't stay for the day because you're the one who's missing out. So we want to make sure we answer God's call. Understand when it's God's call. Don't miss the mark. Don't preoccupy yourself and try to find something better to do. If I could tell you how many people said, oh, you don't have to worry about me next year, because they really didn't think that it was going to have the impact it did. That's why I said the right people were there, because now the word will go out. That's why God is starting us in September, so that there's enough time for the word to go out. I met several pastors, and they were like, oh my God, this is phenomenal. And I reached out to 65 pastors, and I got no one. No one responded. 65 pastors, 65 churches I reached out to. No one answered. But he planted pastors on Saturday, who could see for themselves, hey, I got to be a part of this. Let me know, Pastor Steph. Let me know when you start. Several pastors were there who have approached me about being a part of next year's plan. I did not get one negative word. And can I tell you something that has nothing to do with me? This was a team that worked and put this together. Again, all of the people that landed there to actually come out, whether it was health or regular services, this was a joint effort that was used to bless the community. And can I tell you something? The community felt quite blessed. I think my captains are going to be much more serious next year when they realize what happened this year. And an early start, get the commitment going. When they do the Labor Day parade, do you realize they start a year in advance? So Labor Day happens on September 2nd. Do you realize that by September 4th, they are already planning for the following year? Do you realize FIFA, they start the Olympics They start years in, but yet when it comes to the things of God, we dragging our feet and we got to see what we doing. God said, I'm going to put you 10 months. 10 months, I'm going to put you out here. Enough people will have enough time to answer the call. So be careful. Make sure you don't miss the mark. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit as you go through your day. Be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. This Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. The ladies who never fail. Thank you for hanging out with us each and every day and keeping that chat room alive. Please do not miss the opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tomorrow, God spares, where it's Therapeutic Thursday. Until then, I love you.